today we have a band called Kutumba. So let's welcome the members of the band.
Thank you very much.
How do you feel here in Manipur?
Very relaxed.
Okay. So I suppose this is your first visit.
Yes, in fact, being on this part of the world is like our first time, right?
So what do you think about this place?
We haven't been to lots of places, but seeing from the above, it looks really beautiful and clean.
Please introduce yourselves to us first.
I'm Pavit, and I play percussions in the band.
Okay, okay.
My name is Kiran Nepali. I play sarangi on the band.
Uh, Arun Gurung, I do the management and sound for the band.
Thank you very much. And please tell us about your music.
Uh, Telling about the Kutumba is we are an instrumental band. What we do is like we collect lots of traditional instruments, those are found in Nepal, and bring them together and compose music.
Okay. So that's a very different thing, I would say, and there are not many bands who does this.
In fact, yes, Nepal is a very diverse country. And some time ago we had kind of big uh, issues about identities between the people living in different parts of Nepal. So, and what we did was like the people all living within the country are all like Nepali. So our mission was to unite all the people through music, through instruments.
Okay, that's beautiful. I would like to know how did you guys come together as a musician?
In fact, some 15 years back, we used to organize shows uh, and bring instrumental artists to perform in our show. So we used to sell tickets, we used to put on posters and call for the audience to gather. So after doing for 2 years, like 24 shows, we found out that there aren't any instrumental artists who are playing typical Nepalese music. So at the end, we've thought of playing the music from our side.
Okay. So how did you guys I don't believe that you guys grew up together or learned music together. Maybe you've learned it individually. So how did that happen? How did you guys come up and, how did you meet eventually?
Actually, we are all friends,
Okay.
and during that show time,
Okay.
we made few other friends that we thought of. Okay, now we are all prepared to do the show. So Arun, he was a friend before. He's still a friend. Now he became manager of the band.
Okay, okay. Since you're doing this music, I would like to know about your instruments. Please tell us about your instruments in detail.
I play Nepali sarangi, which is quite different than the sarangi that's around the world, especially.
There is Hindustani sarangi.
Yes,
Is it
Hindustani
different?
sarangi. It's completely different than what Hindustani sarangi is, and my ancestors used to and still play the sarangi, but it was in a different role model. It was more of a accompanying instrument that helps singing. But now we have a little bit taken out the singing part and enhanced the playing part. So the instrument that I play is sarangi, and we play a bit differently than the old style because everything needs changes, evolution. So that's what we're trying to follow up with the sarangi as well, and evolving according to the generation.
So you are taught from your family, or you didn't have anybody else to?
It's a genetic instrument, so it's
Okay.
been carried down. It's
Okay.
the legacy.
Okay. So your family also, they used to play the sarangi in the traditional way itself, not
Yes.
not in the Hindustani way.
No.
Okay, okay. So that's a completely different genre, I would say.
Yeah, actually, Hindustani sarangi is more of a Hindustani classical, but we come out with a folk genre. So it's more, the musically it's a bit different than the Hindustani sarangi actually.
Okay, okay. So since you are you're only an instrumentalist band, so is there any difference from the audience reaction when it is only instrumental and no vocals?
Actually, what we realize is people can connect to each instrument when there isn't a vocalist, because if we keep a vocal, then everything is centered according to the language or the person in the middle. But when we take out the vocalist, now everyone comes in the front and everyone is the center point.
Okay.
So the music is also elaborated according to that.
Okay. So, what are the instruments that you guys, play? Traditional, because they are traditional instruments. So, would like to know more about it.
We have sarangi, the string instrument. We also have tungna. It's a string instrument, but it's from the mountainside. We have flutes. We have a lot of drums. We have metal percussions. It's hard to explain everything. People
Okay.
have to come to the concert tomorrow.
Concert to see
So
it. Okay, so basically this concert is gonna be very different and very beautiful. So I'll request everyone to go and watch it for sure. And I think that people out here, they're gonna love it because they're gonna see and experience something which is very new for them.
Mhm.
I guess. So this is a new kind of music that you're coming up with. So what do you think you should do more to promote it?
we're doing a lot of projects to promote it. Actually, the instruments that we play are slowly disappearing. Actually, so we are putting all our effort to revive it, and then also to hand over this tradition to a newer generations. So that's why I put the word evolution, because we are using it, combining it, and presenting it differently, so that people can grab it to make it a trend, not just the music, so that everyone can follow it. And we travel a lot.
Okay, please tell us about some of your best tours that you have experienced yet.
You mean the best, right?
Yeah, you can. First, I'm going to ask you about the best experiences you had,
Okay.
and I'm also going to ask you about the worst. So let's start from the best.
For us, every place we go and every places that we travel with our instruments, with our music, has been the best time that we have done. I don't think they are worst, but then some places it's a bit hazy. But then most of it's just the experience that counts at the end. So for us, it's best everywhere.
Okay, that's very beautiful.
Yeah, of course, experience. That's
So,
what I
what
say.
have you learned from all these tours from so many years?
We've learned a lot
Okay.
in cases of performance-wise, in cases of the, the 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 way we present to the audience, because you can learn a lot of things seeing the audience in the front. If they're sleeping, sometimes we need to wake them up with the music. If they're really happy and dancing, then we need to put up the mood in the music again. So yeah, we've been learning a lot through our music, like I said earlier.
The best part of our the journey is we got to experience the world through our music, and meet people and share the love and joy through music. Yeah.
Whenever we travel around, we also get to learn so many music, because the music is so much versatile and different in each part of the world. So we always keep our mind and eyes open to learn such melodies, the music, or the genre. And it always adds on into our creativity as well. So that when we compose our next tune, we try to add up elements from different part of the world, and also mixing with our folk element there as well. So
So basically, you do only folk, and you don't mix anything with that.
no, we do a lot of things. We mix folk with jazz, we mix folk with blues, R&B, hip hop, and also folk from other part. For example, we did a collaboration album from a Scottish part of the world. There's the
Please
fiddle.
tell us about it. We'd like to know more about it.
We toured to Scotland 3 years back. Yeah, somehow 3-4 years back, and then we had a collaboration project with the Scottish fiddler and a bagpipe, and we get to learn so much about Scottish music. And then we thought of collaborating, and we also put out an album, the collaboration album with the Scottish folk.
Okay. So there is also one collaboration with the Pakistan Coke Studio.
Yes.
Okay. What was your experience?
Because we were not at the studio, so we really didn't have the actual experience of being at the Coke studio, but it was more of a traveling recording session. So we were given the tracks and the camera was there. So we were just playing according to the tracks, but when it came out, it was like, wow. It was beautiful. And the experience, then we realized, wow, that was something nice. So it was fun.
So I'd like to know what are the difficulties that you faced while forming a band or after forming the band, and to keep up for this long.
See, it's like a joint family. You have so many members. Everyone has,
Do you guys stay together?
well, it's been 15 years.
Actually, it's quite fun, you know. every day is different. Though we understand, we've been playing together for like 15
10
years,
years.
but still, there are like times we encounter different anxieties.
It's like when you have your brothers around, you start fighting and this and that. But end of the day, it's like a family. In the dinner time,
and
you all are
and
together.
about the journey and like the difficulties that we face is like I think it's not only us. I think around this part of this world, we're all like in the same pace. Like we're all trying to introduce ourselves to the world, right? So this kind of feelings drives us to be more creative, to reach out to more people, to reach out to more uh, venues, you know. So and back home, like people encourage us, like saying, "Oh, you guys are, you know, promoting Nepali music, taking music to the world, you know." So they say thank you, you know. So this kind of emotions, you know, like keeps on feeding us.
Okay, okay. I'm sure that people out there in Nepal are really, really proud of you guys. Yeah. So, where did this name come up from, Kutumba?
Actually, they are like it's a very strong word within even like in Nepali language. But when we thought of this word, it came from the Sanskrit word
Okay.
Basudhaiva Kutumbakam.
Okay, okay.
What it says is like the whole world is one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, either other people think that uh, banana.
It's a relationship beyond the blood. For example, we all are family. So
It's a family.
it's a family thing. No matter other people take you as a family, but you're gonna open up yourself to the world as a family. So the whole phrase, the word means the family itself.
Okay. So that's wonderful. So, what are your expectations about tomorrow's gig?
We're quite excited about tomorrow's gig because it's a very new audience to us. And we're excited, we're a bit nervous, we don't know what's going to come out tomorrow, but we are prepared and we hope that we can deliver that amount of energy to the people tomorrow.
Okay. So these days we see that there are musicians who are getting into drugs, alcohol, and stuff like that. So you being the senior musicians, what advice would you like to give to the children out there?
Well, actually, the music itself is a diversion for all these drugs and stuff like that. So if you focus more on music and creativity, I think it'll drive you more towards the creativity than the drugs. I mean, there's no connection between drugs and music. People say that, okay, having drugs, there will be a good creativity or this and that. I don't think so.
Most of the youngsters we see these days are forming a band, either forming a band, and they're very young, and after maybe they're having gigs, they're doing good, but after the gigs they end up drinking so much, and some don't even end up going back home. Some stays back, and they're ruining their health in one or the other way. So what would you like to say to those musicians who are doing these stuffs?
Well, first of all, being a human person, you have to be healthy. For anything, for music, for sports, or whatever. If you go to that direction, then the health comes later. So
It depends how much you love your life, right?
it's about living your life because everyone has a family behind him. So you need to think about them as well. And I think nowhere it's written that music should be directly connected to any drugs or anything. So
What do you say about it?
Same thing. It's like doing drugs is not good, as a lot of people know it. I mean, everybody knows it. So the thing is, music and drugs are not connected, like Kiran said. You should, if you're interested in music, you should have that passion and drive towards music. Learn, that's it.
So it's like no to drugs and yes to music.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So there are a lot of kids who wants to become a musician, but they have these problems that because the revenue problem comes first in the music life of a musician, because today in today's world what the parents would say is you want to become a musician, what would you do become a musician? You might earn, you might not get stable in your life, and they would say those things to the kids. So there are the families who doesn't have any musical background, but there are kids who wants to do music. So what advice would you like to give to the students, like to the kids and to the parents?
First, if they're into music, they should learn how to do it. Uh, they should practice a lot, and then they should learn how to sell themselves. It's like if you're a very good musician and you don't know how to sell yourself, then it's no use. So about the revenue, it's they should have some idea on what music they're doing and where their values, how to create them, and then how to market yourself, and then sell yourself, selling music.
So basically, it's about marketing.
Yeah.
The world is a very big market. If you look through that perspective, you'll find a way how to deliver your passion and how to create the revenue through your passion. And these days it's quite easy because you have like the world all in your like palm, right? So, and there are lots of information about how to sell yourself, and we do the same thing. We go like try to market ourselves from school to villages to corporate events and uh, festivals. And it takes time. It takes time, and either you have to invest money or either you have to invest time. You have to be patient.
So what is like the music scene out there in Nepal?
uh, it's very vibrant.
Okay, okay.
Nepalese people all love music, and either one way or another way, like they're trying to entertain themselves through music. So, and these days, like Nepal is going through a very, very peaceful time. Like all the uh, political aspect is like melting down. Like it's all coming beautiful,
Okay.
and the art sector is like booming. Like and all the restaurants have music. They invite people, and like there are clubs and there are villages who are willing to like bring events in their villages. So lots of venues.
Basically, there are audiences who doesn't understand Nepali, but then they go to the YouTube and they open Nepali videos and they watch and they enjoy the music. There are there are audience and people
Yeah,
like
these
that.
days like
It's a global market now.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
It's a global market because now we have the whole world in our palm through social media. Everyone has reached to YouTube channels and everything, and then it's getting global because we used to see that our videos in the YouTube hardly goes out to like 100,000 or 200,000 people. But nowadays, if there's a good music, it goes out to millions,
Yeah.
not only in Nepal but outside Nepal as well. So the overall market is getting so good. Nowadays, the people are making good money out of the YouTube channels and also through the tours that they get from the music.
Okay, so basically, is there any difference in the traditional way of music that you're doing and the thing that they do in Nepal, the mainstream music? I would say, is there any difference?
Well, now it's getting connected
Mm-hmm.
because people are getting back to the roots. So there was a huge influence of Western music in Nepal, but now people are slowly getting back to the roots and opening themselves to our local music as well. So nowadays in the villages or in the towns or also in the cities, it's not just people want to play guitar, but they also want to play sarangi or tungna or flute or other kind of instruments. So you asked about the parents thing.
Yeah.
Also, the parents are opening up to the music,
Mm-hmm.
and they want their children to learn Nepali music because that represents them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what will introduce them to the world.
Okay.
So that component's also adding up to encourage the parents, also the children to learn Nepali music.
Mm-hmm.
So it's getting global.
So it's not just about influencing them about a specific music, but there are parents who doesn't want their children to do music at all because they think that there is no revenue, there is no future out of
No,
it.
no, it's not like that. A lot of people, a lot of musicians are there in the world who are making a very good out of music. So see, if I start a business or anyone starts a business and keeps it at home,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't goes out.
Mm-hmm.
It was different before.
Yeah, it was different before.
But these days, when musicians are doing good, they are traveling, they are earning a good money, and like now the newer generation who became like parents like us, we all see the world in a different way. Like we choose schools where the music is being taught. And they're constantly talking about how they're doing good at music. So it means like we all understand now is only studying is not enough. Like other activities like sports, music, art. That adds spices to your life.
So when you were young, was it difficult for you? How difficult was it?
When we were starting, we were learning music. We didn't have any like music classes in our time.
You're
So
self-taught.
yeah, we are all self-taught, right?
That's amazing.
Yeah. We just like went after like our friends who knew something to play. So we used to like follow him and like learn music.
We grew up with the music itself. So it was there, but unlike other youngsters, we were also more into Western music. So Pavida used to play keys, and he used to play for a lot of bands. I used to be a guitar player for so many years, and other members as well. Our manager is also a very famous bass guitarist.
Okay.
So we had a big Western influence, but at a point we realized that we have to do something for our folk music as well. So where we turned back and started picking up our own instruments, and then it was there. We grew up with that, so it didn't take us long to start playing it. And then the whole band came together. We started playing. We started experimenting, and actually the sound was so much appreciated by the people. So everyone who was at the concert were encouraged us to go ahead.
Okay.
So that's how we are here.
So you never had a second thought about forming the band when you started it? Did you ever feel like the band will not happen or these things are not going to fall in place? Because you're a member of a lot of people. So did you ever, those thoughts, did it ever come to your mind?
We never thought about when the band will break or whatever. We were just having fun. We are still having fun.
Okay.
So we don't think about when the band will break or whatever, but we are having fun right now. So that's fun is driving us towards.
Okay. So even initially you never had a second thought about it. You just wanted to go with the flow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's wonderful. So basically the folk music that you're doing, is it like completely different than the rest of the folk music which is there in the world, or how would you differentiate it from the other kind of folk musics which
Well,
is
actually, the folk music around the world is so much connected, and it is easily perceived by everyone. That's what we learned from a lot of traveling, because these music are connected so easily. So we might be a bit different in some cases, but no matter we take folk music from Nepal or Scotland or somewhere from Pakistan or India or wherever, it's very connected. So it's easy to collaborate with folk music.
The thing that we do is when we first started, we used to think the same, like the folk music is boring, like this is the stuff of like the old elderly people,
This is what the basically youngsters
Yes.
think. Folk music. What will
Yes.
do with folk music?
Yes, and as we grew up, like we started playing like the Western music. I was very into like playing guitar and like keyboards, and I even like traveled with different pop stars, and at the point, like we thought of like, okay, let's do something with this kind of instruments. Let's start doing like experiments, and when we were playing like the keys and stuff like that, like people hardly like started listening to us, but when we first started playing our own like folk music, like people were like listening to us, so that was the very like the eye opening for us, all right, you don't need to be very good in these kind of instruments, but you can like make
a
yourself
difference.
sound, so before we started playing like the only like the folk music, popular folk music from Nepal, and later on we started composing our own music, so that composing and that kind of like stuff like was kind of like adventure, like taking your music to different parts of the world and making people to understand what you are trying to say, that was really fun.
Okay. So do you guys ever have performance anxiety or something like that when you're on stage, or it just goes?
It was before in the beginnings,
Okay.
but these days like we feel very comfortable being on stage, because we are a team now, and without a team we can't even like function properly, like our manager, he takes proper good care of like the sound and the band, other stuff, and all the management stuff. So we are very like comfortable now.
I'd like to know it from you. How difficult is it for you to manage the band?
It's very difficult.
Okay, please tell us.
No, it's not. It's just that it's like well, you can relate to that. It's like cooking. You cut it and then you mix all those ingredients. It's similar to that. It's like we have fights sometimes, but then it's a healthy fight. And we all take part in all of our arrangements most of the times. If I say something and then if it's not right, someone comes up with something else, and then we try to figure out more in a decent way, ownership, and then in a decent way. So yeah, it's pretty fun.
Okay. So, is there any any band or any musician or any instrumentalist that you're influenced by or you look up to?
Yeah, there are
Basically.
lots of influences
Mhm.
between all the members. Since growing up with lots of Western musical backgrounds, and then grew up listening to them, and of course the Indian classicals, and then a lot of Nepalese classical and folk stuff that we listen to. There are lots of influences.
So, one thing that I would like to know is, what advice would you like to give to somebody who wants to follow your footsteps?
It's pretty much the same thing again. You need to have that passion and drive.
Okay.
Practice a lot.
Okay.
I think that's what makes you good in what you're doing. Not just in music, in anything that you do.
Mhm.
Let's say if you're starting a business, you need to have that focus and drive,
Mhm.
and then practice, so that you know what might come in and then what might go in. So it's more about focusing on what you do, and have that patience.
Okay. So, any favorite Indian instrumentalist that you guys like?
Yeah, of course, a lot
Yeah.
of.
Can you name
Like?
some of them? Anybody that you are, you think that there's somebody that whom you'd like to collaborate with or something like that? Yeah.
Of course. Maybe A.R. Rahman sometimes.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, I have been a huge fan of Al Shankar,
Mhm.
and actually I grew up listening to Al Shankar. So Sakti, the whole instrumental thing, and Ravi Shankar, Anushka Shankar. So we do listen to a lot of classical music as well. So I look up to Al Shankar.
Okay.
Being a percussionist, there are lots of people to be influenced with,
Mhm.
and like Zakir Hussain,
Mhm.
and I forgot like lots of names.
Mhm.
Like I can't remember the
Okay.
name.
Anybody that you'd like to collaborate in this part of the time?
Anushka Shankar.
Okay.
We have done
Okay.
some of the stuff with sitar players as well
Mhm.
back home,
Mhm.
and we do very lots of collaboration. Even like we would love to do the uh, collaboration with like the artists from Manipur, right? And who- do you know anybody from here? Papon? And
Yeah,
what
he's
was
from Assam.
and
Yeah.
what was the band that we saw in Uti? Oh, Papon, yes. And we watched him, and we really liked the way he was performing back
Okay.
in Uti, and listening to him, like it's quite like the stuff that we always want to do it,
Mhm.
like so
Okay.
we get influenced. You never know when and where we get influenced.
Okay, yeah, that's true. So where do you see yourself in future?
White hair. uh in the future, some 15 years before, like we used to think of like taking these instruments and like traveling the world, and I always like wanted to come to this part of the world, like Assam, Nagaland, and Ceylon, and we've been up to Darjeeling, Sikkim, and from that place we always thought of like coming to this part, and it took us like 15 years, so uh, and what I would like to say is to all the like the people, like first you need to see the dream, right? And see it every time, and you're always like getting motivated through your dreams, so to have your dream come true, it doesn't happen instantly, so it takes time. So enjoy all that time frame.
That's wonderful. So this was the band Kutumba, and they've shared a lot of beautiful things and a lot of good experiences with us. So thank you for giving us your interview.
Thank you very much, Tom.
Okay, we will wish to see you more in Manipur and keep visiting.
It is just the starting. We would love to come back and maybe do some collaborations with the local music out here. And we'd love to learn more from Manipur.
Okay, so it's been wonderful having you to our show. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
This is all for now. Please watch the next episode, and we'll be waiting for your responses for this one.